How's it going? My name is Brent from Encore, PPF and Tint, and today we are going to go over the process of installing window tints on a Toyota Corolla Cross. So this is the first time I've ever worked on one of these. Let's go ahead and see how this goes. We're going to be installing an Autobond product. This is their black ceramic film. We're going to be putting a, is this 15%?
Yep.
And then the fronts? We're going to be putting a 15% over the rear windows and a 35% on the front two doors. So like I've said in previous videos, a 15% over factory tint basically makes it as dark as a 5% film. So in the end, the back will be like a 5%, which is a limo tint, and then we'll have a little bit of a shading on the front two doors. All right, terrific. Well, let's go ahead and get started on this. All right, so I've already wiped this window down, and one thing that I do to save some time is I use a towel to wipe this down that's a dirtier towel from like the day before, and that leaves enough haze on the glass that I don't have to use a bounce pad. So, but if you're new, definitely bounce this thing up, because you can run into some problems with just using this haze on here where it doesn't get enough of it on there, and then you get the film sticking a little bit to the glass. Okay, so I've already wiped this window down here, and then I do that with an older towel. So to save time, instead of using a bounce pad, something that you can do as you get better at window tinting and you get faster is that you can take an older towel that's a bit dirty, like from the previous day, and you can use it to wipe down the window, and you leave it fairly damp. And that's gonna do is it's gonna put a little bit of a haze on here, basically like the bounce pad would do, but at a much smaller scale. All right, let's lay this on here. Just get it pretty standard. Hold down in the middle. We'll do our H pattern here. You can see that I'm just going ahead on the side. I'm not pushing this stuff down with my fingers, and that's because there is no fingers there because the window's so short. So I feel comfortable doing that. Okay, normally it's a good idea to push the sides up and down with your fingers first, in case there are some fingers that are created there, so that you can push those to the top and bottom. Otherwise you're going to go over those with that hard card and crease them. Okay, let's go ahead and start shrinking. Alright, so a lot of times on these you can kind of just stand right behind it and do this, but I'm not sure if that's going to make me get in the way of the camera, so go ahead and heat this up till the fingers start going from side to side, and then we push that area out. Alright, I'll take care of this top. So you can see here that this is kind of stuck to the glass. It's not free floating, and that's kind of a little bit of the problem that you can run into when you're just using the haze off of the previous day's towel, or maybe a towel you've been using most of the day, and you start using that to wipe this window down to leave a little bit of haze on there. And that's that's the issue basically that you can run into, and this would be much more of a problem for somebody who's newer at tinting windows. Then once you've got everything down really well, it doesn't create such a problem. I can work around that little area. It's also a technique that I wouldn't recommend using on a really difficult window. So if I had a hard, really window that was going to use a lot of heat shrinking, I wouldn't bother trying to use that method to do that. I would just get the bounce pad out, because obviously if I lose a little bit of my heat shrink ability here on this window, not such a big deal because this is an easy window, but you lose that on like a Tesla Model 3 back window or something, you're really going to be hurting. So go ahead, I'm just gonna tighten up these edges here. Fantastic. All right, let's get this off the car and back on the glass. Let's weed this. Liner side is out. Fantastic. Push those edges down to make sure that doesn't curl itself off the glass. All right, we'll go ahead and mist this down. Get out our scrubby pad. Scrub this down way back in there as far as you can get the scrubby pad to go. Get the glass really good. Okay, so I did remove this piece of trim here because it kind of blocks this third brake light area, and that basically just has a clip, or the clips onto this piece of plastic here, here, and here, right there, and then 4 clips out in the middle, and then again right here and here. Just pulled out on it. All right, we'll go ahead and I'm gonna get way back in there with this towel, just in case there's anything way back in there that might run down into our window. Also wipe off the panel here in case we happen to bump the tint on that. All right, great. Now let's go ahead and give this the final squeegee. And last squeegee, last pass here, we'll flip it over so we can get way down in there with the tip of the squeegee, cut at the angle, and then we'll push this side down. Great, and then we'll put a mist on here, go grab our pattern, and we'll get that installed. So we're gonna take the liner all the way off. We're gonna flip this over. No, we're not gonna, wait. Yep, flip this over. And we wanna get this side in first. Great. I'll let that hang down a little bit. Over here, I'm letting that hang down. Got a little light gap there, and then we're going to go ahead and take this part and curl it in and tuck it in. Now this part needs to go in. It looks like we're a little high. Okay, so we're bumping. That's positioned well, but we are bumping here. So let's see that just this plastic pulled back a little bit, and then that was able to tuck in. All right, put a little mist on that. We'll go ahead and Blue Max the water and soap out. This is just our first pass, so we're just trying to get the bulk of things out of here. Great. All right, we'll get something to get underneath this light a little bit here. This is too big to fit in there. So it's kind of just bumping into it. Squeegee this part out. Make sure you're going with the defroster lines and you're overlapping a lot. Okay, great. Now for all the way around the edge, to make sure we got way back in there, I'm going to take this card with the Teflon tape on it. And we'll go all the way around. I find that it's best to continue to lift the tool off and start a new pass You don't want to just go all the way around because you're going to end up bunching that film up and creasing over it. So I like to let off and then just keep doing little passes like this. Great. So all that is down now. Got the edges down really well. Let's try this off. Got a little finger popping up right there on the corner, on the edge. So we'll get this dried off. And go ahead and push that down. I did leave a couple little marks on here, which is interesting with the tool. There we go. I think those are the Teflon tape I have on here, or whatever this tape is called, is starting to go a little bit bad, so I think it's leaving a little bit of adhesive streaks. Need to replace that. Great, let's go ahead and put this back on now. So it seemed like that these parts want to clip first because that's how it came out, was just the opposite. These came out last. It doesn't seem to matter actually. Great. Okay, there we go. So I just grabbed on here and pulled off like this, and this part stayed hooked. These sides wanted to stay hooked on there. So it was like down this way and out, and then this one was this, you know, up and this way and out. Let's just show you. Okay, so I pulled this one out like this, and then this part I went, well, hang on. There. Let's see about this side now. Yep, like that. Okay. Great. So let's go ahead. These are factory tinted, so I put you guys right here. Hopefully we get some decent angles on this. Let's go ahead and get the tint on these windows. So I need to turn the key on, or the ignition. All right. So I'm gonna start by scrubbing the bottom here, and then scrubbing up the sides. You can see how far I stick that back in there. So just get back as far as you can. These roll-ups go on really well. So there's a lot of, you know, Toyota leaves a lot of space in the rubbers on the edges. So you can, it's very easy to tuck in usually. Okay, we'll go ahead and just do our regular steps here. So let's roll this up to where we want it. We don't want to completely hide that corner, so that's about as high as we're gonna get. Let's clean that off. It looks really clean in there. Great, okay. I like to do that anyway though, because then you get used to doing it, and then when you're not paying attention, you're working on a car that's a little bit, got a few more years on it, or it's a little bit more dirty, then it doesn't create an issue. So, because you're just in the habit of doing that. Because those times that you forget to do it, they're gonna bite you. All right, squeegeeing this off. Down this side, this squeegee has started to leave, like where it rubs, it's been leaving some material. I don't know where we purchased this yellow from, but it's it kind of comes off a bit onto the glass, which isn't great. All right, let's get our film. What time is this customer showing up?
As soon as we taxi.
All right, so we should be pretty. This is gonna get done pretty quick, I think. All right, let's grab our piece, film. Grabbing it with my fingernails. Okay, so we're getting that angle. We're gonna start tucking that in, and then we can start to twist it, because once that's the best way to do that, is to go in and then turn it, because that gives this a nice angle. See how this is like tilted out like this? I don't know, let me think. I'll try to explain that a little bit more as we go. See how this is, and then when it goes in there, I don't know. I'm gonna have to think on that one. That's just a good way to do it. This is how you want it to be once you get it tucked in. You want it to be like this and not like kinked up or not folded over this way. So not like this. You want it to look like that, and that's the best way to have that sitting, because it's gonna do the least amount of damage to the material. So you're not gonna get all the kinks and the crinkles in these edges. Okay, so I'm mounting the film here to the glass, and then we're squeegeeing this out. Okay, make sure we're in a good position still, because it's still a little slippery. I got my soap solution figured out now for the I think what is that, 7th generation soap, dish soap. It's 30 milliliters, which I believe is 1 ounce per gallon of water. So that mixture has worked out great. All right, so we're gonna roll that up after we push it out with the white card there. Let's go ahead and blow any dirt down that we couldn't get to when we were cleaning the window. Get rid of the liner, put a little mist on the adhesive. Now let's get this in, and we want that angle like that. So the bottom we want out further, and that gets a nice flat piece of material there on the glass, and then we can just slide that in real easily. That's the best way to tuck that in. And then when we get over here, we're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna put my finger down here, I'm gonna pull back on the bottom, get that nice angle, and then just let it tuck in. And then we'll get rid of a little bit of the extra. We're gonna need another card in there to help to convince that to go down. And actually, let's see why it's doing that. So let's pull that back out and push that back in. It seems like it's probably like catching on something in there. So pulling it back out and sliding it back in corrected that. Let's go ahead and take this red card here and get rid of the bulk of the soap and water. Great. And then we'll go ahead and squeegee this down. Make sure you do good overlapping strokes. I'm using a lot of pressure for this process because I'm only doing this one time, so this is it. We're not gonna go over this stuff twice like that. Okay, great. Now, let's go ahead and we will push this down with this card and then across the bottom. So each one I do, roughly about 3 times. Okay, great. Dry this off a little. And we'll put that up in the front seat. Wipe this panel off a bit. And don't get too crazy drying everything off. I do like drying the panel off still, but we're about to get some more moisture in this whole area, so let's go ahead and put a mist on there. Now, on all of my wing windows where there's a rubber on the back, I'm gonna go ahead and trim a little sliver out. So I'm gonna look way up there. I'm gonna go around, start at the top and go around the rounded edge. I'm gonna come down this side. And it is a very small sliver, so basically what I'm doing is 45ing the edge of that rubber, like that. Great. That allows the film to tuck in there real easily so it doesn't get caught there and kink up that edge. All right, and then of course, right back to scrubbing this down. Try to get back in there a little bit. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and squeegee this now. So I'm gonna start up here, bring that down. Then I'm gonna take some of these across here like this. Basically the same pretty much process. And then we're gonna come over and then down like that. Great. That squeegee's leaving a little bit of marks on the window. I don't like that. All right, let's give that a mist. grab our pattern here. All right, now with these type of windows, I'm going to put the top in first. And I want this to kind of be bowed like this a little bit. So I'm gonna hold right in the middle. So that way the film can go on here and then tuck in that way. And so you see how it's bowed like inward. So let's get this to go up a little bit higher. And so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna push out on the glass with my hand and push this up into place. And hopefully that's gonna help it tuck underneath that rubber that's up there. Okay, let's check the bottom. Make sure we're not leaving a light gap. We'll see here. I might have to bring the film down a little bit, but we want to get this tucked in first here. Okay, that didn't go super smoothly. Let's get, basically we're gonna do like we do on the side windows, where we get that nice and flat and then tuck it in, is what I'm gonna do there. Now we're gonna bring this across the bottom, make sure that whole bottom edge is tucked in. And then I'm gonna push this piece of rubber up and then pull out on it right here so that that whole area can tuck in. Great. Okay, that's looking really good. We are bunched up just a tiny bit here. That needs to be tucked under, and we'll get that with the squeegee. And if it doesn't work with the squeegee, then we'll get it with the white Teflon card. Okay, so I've got the film stuck in place with my finger up here, and then I'm squeegeeing everything out. And now that I've given that one decent pass, that should be enough to hold itself in place. But I am still being fairly gentle with this, not getting too crazy, because it's still going to be able to move around quite a bit at this point. Okay, that's looking good. So I think we've got it on there. It's really starting to stick down. So now I'm going to use a decent amount more pressure. Still being very careful up in these corners though with the squeegee here, because it's very easy to bunch that stuff up. And we, you know, have got this on here. Let's not start over. So still being not real hard pressure. When we're going to get to the more hard pressure is when we're using the white Teflon card here. This one here. Because that's going to glide much easier across the window film than the yellow squeegee is going to be much more sticky to the film and grab it, and it can really bunch up those edges. Okay. So that's the tool that we're going to use to get the edges out really well. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and dry this off. Okay. This last window here. Okay, fantastic. So I'm just looking around in here, making sure I can, as far as I can tell in here, everything's stuck down really good. There's no little fingers coming up off the side, because it's going to be harder to see with this window on the outside because it is factory tinted. Okay, and everything's looking really good. Let's go ahead and get this little wing window now.
Oh, you will?
Yeah. All right, let's get something on this wing window here. Not really going to be able to see the install from the outside, so we're on the inside again with both cameras. I got my squeegees in the wrong pockets in my pouch, of course. All right, so down the one side first, and then bringing all this stuff across again. Okay, and then we need to take this down. All right, great. I left a tiny bit of water right there where that little symbol is. So go ahead and hit that, spray it down, and then we'll put a very light mist on there. Let's grab our pattern now. Okay. Oh. Okay, so I want to grab right here, and then I want to get this hand all the way on the back of the film. And then we're going to set the bottom in place first, and let the top go in. Great. Put a little mist on there. Grab our squeegee. I'll kind of hold this in place with my two fingers there so the film isn't going to be moving around, and let's squeegee out over the lettering first so it sticks down really well because it really wants to stick to that lettering. I know I say that over and over again, don't I? Okay. Squeegeeing all this out. And I'm just going over everything like multiple times, so making sure that we're getting good pressure on everything, and then I'm getting good swipes here. But just getting out all the water. Great. And we'll go ahead and try this off. Try off the panel. All right, then we'll try off the window here. Fantastic. All right, so the roll up is going to be a piece of cake, or it's going to be regular. The wing window, not regular. Well, I mean, I guess it's regular for this car. All right, let's get this up all the way, and let's get this gigantic billboard off the window. My goodness. I don't know how people live with these. Sometimes we get cars in that got quite a few years on them and they still have these stickers on them, and I'm like, how did you do that all these years? Drive around with that thing next to your face like that. All right, so I'm just kind of picking away at this here. You can also just pull on it, but I find that that's going to leave so much adhesive on the glass that taking it off like this at least gets rid of some of the adhesive with the sticker. Get that out of here. Like I said, normally, like I've said before, I normally fold these over onto each other so that the sticky side is to the sticky side, and then they'll be swept up real easy. Now we do want to wet this down to help loosen that up a bit. And let's go ahead and scrape this off. So I like to do good, long scrapes like that with this so that the stuff builds up on the blade and doesn't just stay on the glass. I want to take as much of that off with me as possible, because then I don't have to worry about it going down, hitting that rubber, and then coming back up when I roll that window back up when we're installing. Okay, great. For the rest of this window, we'll just go ahead and use the scrubby pad. Try to get down there below that rubber a little, way back in there. All right, good scrub. Pull that down a little bit, and we'll go ahead, get that top edge. I'll go ahead and clean that top edge off. Oh yeah. Let's get these sides again. Nice and clean. Nice and clean. And I'm not looking forward to this wing window. I mean, it's just part of the process, right? I'm not like super worried about it, but no fun on those wing windows. The other side, I made a mistake on it when I was pushing it out and creased it, and I had to pull it off and put a new piece on. So I always try to cut out 2 of those if they fit into the material. And normally you can get them to fit somewhere. So I cut out 2 for each side just in case something goes wrong, so I don't have to load the plotter back up with the right film and all that stuff. Definitely that window has a much higher risk of a problem than this roll-up does, or any other window on this car for that matter. Okay, but they're definitely not the worst. That's not the worst. One of those type of windows. There's much worse ones that are much harder to get to. This one's not so bad. Okay, get a mist on there after we blew everything down. Let's grab our piece of material here, bring this liner about 3/4 of the way off. I'm gonna grab the liner with this finger and grab this side with my fingernail. I'm not getting my fingerprints on the film. All right, let's get some of that attached. I'm gonna push this over and then do that tilt thing on it. So we got a nice, that's looking really good. It's a little kinked right there. We'll get that taken care of here. Let's get this side on. So I'm bringing it over this way, putting the excess in the middle. Then we're gonna take it over and up Okay. So that's looking really good now. So what I want to do, what's a good idea to do is come out here and check. Make sure you've got coverage on this side. And then that side is much easier. This side is easier to leave a gap. So that side you can really see it from the inside. This side you can't really see. So come out and check that out. Make sure you've got good coverage there. And then I'm going to mount the film in place. And we're going to squeegee this out. So taking everything over to the side here. Going over it multiple times, just make sure I'm getting all the water out. So we are going to roll this up into place. So the more water, we want to have as much water out as possible. We want this to stick to the glass as much as possible so that it doesn't move when we roll it up, when it hits that rubber up there. Okay, so we squeegee it out to about 1 inch of the edge. Now we're going to switch over to this white card. If you start to feel your white card starting to feel rough on the edges, it's time to cut a new edge. This one is super fat. This has gotten really fat. This is, I've had this, you know, I'm using this for way too long, really. The fatter it gets, the harder it is to tuck behind like rubbers and things like that, like down here. So I like to keep it thinner usually, but I don't know, just the way it's gone this week. Okay. Going up 3 or 4 times. All right, everything's looking really good. And when I'm squeegeeing this up, I'm staying away from this area. Do not bump that area. You want to stay above it and go up, because you're going to kink and crease the film. You're going to mess the film up right there. We want to touch that as little as possible. All right, I'm going to put a little pressure on the window. Oh, turned off again. I had to move the key. The key went to sleep. All right. There we go. Roll that up. Let's spray this and rinse this down. And don't worry about that water. I don't know if people worry about that or not, but that water is gonna go in the door and out. That's the same place that water goes when it rains. Huh? All right, so let's go ahead and tuck this in all the way across. Once we get to about here, I'm gonna reach in, pull the film down and over, get that nice flat edge, and slide that in like that. All right, and so what I'm saying about the water here that's going down in there is that there's a barrier inside the door between the door panel and with all the electronics are on this side of a plastic sheet that's on the inside, if you haven't seen the inside of a door. So this water going in there is just exactly what the rain does. So it's not gonna hurt anything in there. Literally, literally never had this cause a problem inside of a door. 0 times since 1998. There you go. All right, so here we have a hair right here. No bueno. Yeah, right there. It actually looks like a little piece of fuzz from my scrubby pad, which will happen from time to time. So what we need to do is reach down here to the bottom of the film and pick this back up. We want to be as gentle as we possibly can with this, but we also need to get it out of there. So because at this point, we're going to try and salvage this, which is, oh, this is tough. Okay, so it's kind of, that's not great, not great. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so let's flip this over. Let's find that little piece of hair that was on there. Right there was right underneath my fingernail. And the nice thing about that being such a thick piece of, if it's from that tool, is that it's really thick, and so it should pop off the adhesive pretty easily. Although it doesn't feel like it's coming off that good. I don't know, I feel like I can still feel it there. That's really weird. That should not be how that goes. So once I get it cleaned off, I'm gonna go ahead and spray everything down really well. And then we're gonna take this film, and we want all this to get, oh yeah, that's not good right there. It doesn't look good. Okay, let's see what we can do here. See if we can get all this back in there without causing too much. I mean, the going back in is not going to be the problem. It's when we got it out was going to be the real problem. Now, the other thing I'm not sure about is whether that hair actually came out. I can't imagine that it's actually stuck between the layers of the film. Okay, it did come out. Great. Okay, great. It just didn't totally feel like it. And actually, I just moved it up. Oh my gosh. All I did was move it. Okay, everything else is still looking really good. So I'm gonna give it one more shot. I'm gonna give it one more try. And if that doesn't work, I'm just pulling it off. So it's right there now. Oh, what a mess. I'm telling you, I haven't had a hair in a piece of film in like, I don't know. Could it be months? It's been months, I think. All right, so I'm gonna pull this back out. You can hear it crinkling. That's all bad. That's all bad sounds for window film. This isn't it. It's not easy to pull it back out of that area right there. All right, so hopefully that got sprayed out now, and if it didn't, then this is questionable whether this is gonna make it anyway. And if it's still in there, it's not making it for certain. So let's pull this line back here, get that all kind of flat and tuck back down, and we'll tuck this back in. This is so messy now. I can't believe this is happening. My goodness gracious. Like, screwing around with the window film this much is a disaster, because all you're doing is introducing contamination into areas that, you know, or possible. The less you screw around with the film, the better. And so we've been screwing around with this piece of film a lot. It's still there. All right. I got a piece of hair in there. Womp womp. All right, so let's go ahead and trim out this rubber on the back edge. So go way up in there, make a little turn, bring this on down, round the bottom just a little bit, and then come out. Great. Okay. All right, let's clean this all up, scrubby pad it. Still plenty wet, so I'm not gonna bother putting another mist on it. And let's see what we can do about getting this squeegeed out now. It's really hard to get that top corner squeegeed out. It's the other side. I already did the other side. And it was just like really, I also keep this smaller squeegee for sometimes for windows like this, where it's harder to get the big squeegee in there. But it's not really helping on this window way up there. So actually what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna take my white Teflon card, put it in this, and we're gonna go ahead and kind of just run this across it up in there. And then we're gonna have to call that good as far as clean for that top part, because we're not gonna be able to do much else with that. Although, you know, I'm hoping there's not gonna be too much dirt in there with what we just did, so. Okay, so we'll go over, down. We'll bring this stuff over. We'll kind of spray this side down, spray the bottom down. Try the panel off a little bit. That's plenty enough. Well, let's give it a tiny mist. Let's grab one of our patterns here. Give it a mist. All right. See if we can get this bad boy to fit up in here now. Okay, so we're very fortunate on this window that this side is blackout. That makes this so much easier. This is such an easier install. When that's rubber, which I believe it is on like the RAV4s, this is a much tougher window. So let's get this in here, let that flip up, and now we're gonna take this up into the corner. I'm gonna push out on the window just a little bit. I don't know if it's actually flexing at all and letting the helping, but I'm still doing it. Okay, so that's looking really good. I feel like we're just a smidgen too high, but we're not so high that we're gonna leave any light gap or anything, and it's really trying to stick. So let's see if we can get, yeah, we're good. Okay, we need to get this part tucked in now. So I'm gonna take this tool here, go in behind the film. There we go, that got all tucked in. We are having a little bit of stuff up here, which we'll take a look at from the outside in a moment. Let's go ahead and squeegee all this out. Okay, now work up there, you know, pretty much as high as I can and still get some decent pressure on it. We're good. The up top there is really gonna need the white Teflon card. Oh boy. Yeah, no, I think I'm all right though. I got a little aggressive with the squeegee. Unfortunately, I did not crease it over on itself. So let's see if this still works. As soon as I get the camera out. That was definitely I didn't do that on the other side with this squeegee. It was actually the white card pushed way up in there. It caught the edge and crinkled it up, and then it's just like impossible. It's like I'm never gonna be able to get that cleaned up. All right, so let's see. Oops, I almost doing it again. So we're being fairly aggressive here with the pressure. Okay, now let's see what that top corner looks like. I think was salvaged. Yep, okay, we're in good shape. Let's go ahead and we'll squeegee that kind of down. And then what I'm gonna do is come in here. Let's see, how else can we do that? There's really no other way. It's gotta come from the bottom. So I'm getting in there behind the rubber, and we're basically, see, it wants to catch and mess it up. So when we're going up, we don't wanna go up like this, or up too far with this without the rest of it, because that's going to cause it to create a finger, and then that finger is then going to try to push to over here, and then you're going to crease it over. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what's going to happen. And so what we want to do really is just go I keep turning like this as we go up, but I'm really just trying to go up like this, even if it is at an angle like this, and that's really going to help push that down. That's what we're going to be using for our angle. And then I'm going up over the edge, and then so I'm up over the edge and then turning like that and coming down. Way over the edge. Great. Okay, fantastic. It's a little spot that doesn't want to stay down. Oh, nope, there it goes. Fantastic. Okay. Well then, other than the little thing I did with the squeegee, this one came out pretty good. There is a little finger that keeps popping up right here, and I'm not going to spend too much more time messing with that. Oh, I did. I kept messing with it. I told myself not to do it, and I did it anyway. All right, let's start over. I crinkled that top edge. It's never going to be able to clean up back up there. You're not going to be able to get the heat up there and the tools and stuff. It's just going to be a nightmare. Let's clean this up real quick. And this window should be nice and sparkly clean already. Squeegee that all down. I know, and I'm recording this. I guess I can just skip those parts, but I shouldn't. Probably should I just show people the disaster that happens sometimes?
I can't believe you told me I can move this car out. That's what messed you up.
Yeah, that must be it.
Okay, well, we're meeting.
Okay, have fun. All right, so let's do this all over again. Man, 2 windows on one car I have to redo. Well, and actually that's 3, isn't it? Because I had to redo the other side, which you guys didn't get to see. Okay, let's look up there. This film needs to go up a little bit more. Let's see. So down a little bit because we're leaving a gap on the bottom. We didn't want that. Okay, that looks really good right there. Oh, this is so rare, you guys. 3 windows being redone on the same car. I could see these wings, okay? I'm gonna just give it up for the wings. This stuff happens on these wings from time to time. But to include a roll-up door and stuff in this, wow. This is a special kind of day. I've been doing this for so long that, you know, usually don't have too many problems, and usually these go on very smoothly as well because I've got the technique down, but not today. All right, so we're getting just all these edges pushed down really well. Everything's looking good over there. Everything looks good across the bottom. Now let's get up in this top corner. And okay, great, that went really good. And I'm just not gonna even touch it again. Bam, leave it alone. Don't touch it. It's just gonna screw it up. All right, so now that I jacked this window up, we need to reheat that bottom and hang on. Okay, let's get rid of that for a moment. All right, now we need to re-shrink this bottom edge. Do a little snap shrink, a little pre-shrink. Okay. I don't know, what do you guys think? Is it helpful to watch me make mistakes? Because I could cut that right out and make it look like it never happened. I just feel like it might be helpful to show you how to do some of this other stuff. And show you the kind of problem areas and stuff like that, the things where you can run into some issues. Okay, great. All right, let's get this clean now. I've already done most of the cleans, so we just got to do our final squeegee again. Okay, crossed. Terrific. Down. Fantastic. Spray. 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 Spritz. Spritz. Pull our liner. Whip it down. Great. Everything's ready to go. Finger on one side on the liner, other side with the pinky. Let's get this in. Top corner goes in first. It's gonna be one of those days. It's the end of the Friday. So it's just one of the end of these days. My wife obviously looked up another car at some point and cut me out the front window for the wrong car. So you know what? I think she's gone, so I can't even say anything to her. Let's go cut this out ourselves, huh? You guys, let's do some more stuff together. Crap. All right, I know that's a little bit of a jacked up angle, but it's what we got for today because this is just quick. We're doing this quick. All right, so we're gonna do a new cut board. We're gonna put these windows on here, the front 2 doors, which are right here. When you push one, it puts them both. We'll go to the cut board and then we'll figure out which one we need. We need the driver's side, which is going to be this bottom one. All right, so let's delete this other one. And then we'll go ahead and flip this over. And I like to use up as much of the film as possible. So let me go check the machine. The machine says we have 23 inches of height. So let's use that up. So we could even go over here and tell this thing that we have 23 inches. And then, so like, let's say we just take this pattern here and we leave it the way it was, so nice and flat. So right there, we're using 5.89 square feet of film. But now let's do something that isn't gonna hurt us at all as far as the install goes, and adjust this up a little bit like this. 5.4 now. Now I know that's not a huge difference on this piece, but it will be over time, and it is on other windows even bigger, especially when you're doing two together. You can manipulate things around. So we were on the Jaguar 5, which is what we're on. Let's go ahead and hit cut and have this thing get busy. We'll get the correct window cut out. Great. All right, let's get a mist on here. Let's get our pattern on here. Kind of forgot which side was which, and we want liner side on the glass while we cut this. And so I'm gonna go ahead and I'll weed this one since it's just, I'm just gonna go ahead and weed this now. Great. Okay. This top part, we'll go ahead and cut this too, although I'm not so worried about this part. It's more the bottom that we need to trim. Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and flip this over. It'll be the kicker right now is if I cut out the wrong side. That would have been the kicker. I'd have to just close up shop for the weekend. Go home. It's like, nope, sorry, can't do it. I know it's only one more window, but I just can't get her done. All right, so the window my wife cut out was we had a Lexus, or not Lexus, a Lincoln MKZ in here, and that was the window that she cut out. I saw it in there. So definitely not the right car. Let's do this again. Last time. I'm gonna say it. Yeah, I'm saying it. Last time. All right. I may have just jinxed myself, but I'm not even worried about it. This is I can't even. I think we got it this time. That's all I'm saying. Because what time is this? So we had the first time, then we had the wrong window time, and then this time. So third time's a charm, you know? That's how the saying goes, so you know we're getting it this time, right? All right. I just doubled the length of this video with one door. All right, we'll go ahead and spray all that down. Go ahead and put a mist on there. Let's get our pattern. I find that if I do that really fast and to start it and peel the liner back, that it comes off much easier and doesn't try to peel the film off with it. So I'd like to do a little real quick. All right, finger in the liner, fingernail on the film. Bring this on over. Let's hope we cut out the right window. Okay, tuck that over and in. Put the extra in the middle. Get it at that angle like this, and then we're gonna tilt it up into place. Great. Let's get this top lined up really well. Looking great. Plenty of coverage. Okay, so I'm gonna mount the film here in place. And we're a little over right there. Oh. Okay, right there. Okay. That's looking really good now. Okay, right there. Go ahead and squeegee this out. Go down as far as I can, and then just keep working our way over. Over to like the last inch or so on the side. Great, top edge is looking really good. Over to the last inch. And we're gonna put this in here and take this up. Usually about 3 or 4 passes. Same on this side. And this side I'm actually gonna hold this down in place so it can't move, because I'm gonna put a ton of pressure on this. Great. over here it's hard to do that because there's like nothing to put your thumb into when you're trying to squeegee this whole area out, basically everything above that mark. Okay, great. And then just for good measure this time around, I'm gonna go ahead and go across this top edge. I don't know why, but I feel something's telling me that was necessary. Okay, key turned back off. Let's shake the key around, make sure it's not asleep. Press the button twice, roll the window up. Let's spritz this down. Great. Let's go ahead and get rid of our liner. Great. Let's spritz the adhesive. Let's get this in place, get our metal over, and then let's get that angle and then tucked in. Bring it across. Ooh, almost caught it right there. That's close. All right. Let's get that angle again. And then push that down in. Oh, that didn't go super smooth. What are you doing to me? This should be so fast and easy. All right. Now let's go ahead and squeegee this out. I promise I've tinted windows before, like one time, I think. Just, yeah. No, twice. Yep. All right, and we'll go ahead and let's take this on over. We got to get rid of all this air. Fantastic. Just take your time. Go nice and slow when there's a bunch of air in there, because you want all that air to escape, and it doesn't like to go out real fast. So don't move too quickly. Just take your time. Push it down nice and slow, and make sure you don't hear any kinking. You're not creasing it. You're just listening and looking for that type of problem. Okay, so we'll go ahead and squeegee this bottom out. Whoa, no hair, no hair. All right, that's a plus. I'm happy with that. I mean, I'm a little disappointed we don't get to do this window again, but I can live, I'll live with it, you know? All right, let's go down with the Teflon card here, go across. Let's squeegee this side out. Let's bring our metal over to right here. That's on the outside, whatever that is. Okay, so that's a line right there. It's on the outside though. Okay, there's a little water pocket right there, so I'll push that guy down. See, this is so fat that when I go down there and I hit the rubber, it won't slide between the rubber and the window. There, now I got it to go in there by pulling out on it, but when this is thinner, then it slides in there much easier. So this is way too fat. So this is done today. That's the end of its life. Oop, I just put it on the ground. Done. Done with that tool. It's done, I don't know, a lot of cars. So I don't know if it's a dozen or if it's 2 dozen. It's done a lot of cars. I don't think it's a 2 dozen though. Somewhere in between those two it's done for cars, with it and the other half. So those two together, maybe I did 20 cars or so with them. All right, great. I'll go ahead and try everything off. Try this window off. Okay, now let's go take a look. I can already see I've got a finger coming out right here from the side, so we're gonna need to correct that. So a little one right there. I'm gonna wipe this off. Get my fingerprints off the chrome from holding the window from the inside. Get your fingerprints on the chrome. You want to make sure and clean that stuff off. See right here even, and right here. Okay, so let's take a look at this wing first. That looks fantastic. That's what I like to see. We look fantastic over here, working our way across, and this basically in this area right here. Everything's looking really good. Go up a little higher. Okay, that looks great. Let's take care of this one thing here. So I'm gonna get the white Teflon card. Oh, it's on the ground. All right, you got one part of a car left, so let's clean this off in case it sitting in any sand down there, which hopefully isn't the case. Shouldn't have any sand in the shop. Go ahead and push that out. I'm gonna put more pressure on it and go over it just a little bit slower, hoping that it'll stay stuck down. Looks like it's going to. Great. Okay. Well then, third time's a charm. And that edge is super clean. Super clean. Great. Okay, fantastic. It's that easy. All right, that's it. That's all we got. All right, terrific. Well, that's the process of installing some window tint on a, I already forgot what this car is. No, I didn't. It's a Toyota Corolla Cross. So that's what it looks like to install window film on this and screw up the front door multiple times. What are you gonna do, right? Some days are like that. I haven't had that problem in that level of problemness in a long time. So it's gonna happen from time to time, especially when the camera's on. Definitely when the camera's on. It's gotta happen then for sure. All right, well, I appreciate you guys taking a look at this. If you found anything helpful, give a thumbs up, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.